Greetings. This is Moilan Villanueva, and today's lesson that I'm going to tackle about is managing online and offline learning classroom management in the new normal. Now, shall we begin? What is my objective of preparing this topic? My objective is to identify and understand the online, offline learning as well as the classroom management in the new normal. Right now, we are facing a lot of challenges relating to our instruction, teaching, and classroom management. I believe that learning, both the online and offline learning, as well as the classroom management, will help all of us to be able to come up with a useful and practical ways on how we can manage our classroom in this pandemic period. Now, I would like to discuss first what is new normal. According to the two online dictionaries, I have found out these two definitions. First of all, I will read about the lexico.com. It states there that a previously unfamiliar or a typical situation that has become standard, usual, or expected. Meaning to say that before we are doing activities in the classroom, for example, face to face, but due to the situation we're facing in the event of COVID 19, we tend to adjust to this situation. And second definition is the current state of being after some dramatic change has transpired. What replaces the expected, usual, typical state after an event occurs? The new normal encourages one to deal with current situations rather than lamenting what could have been. It means that since we are in the new normal, we have to do something, not to be negative about it, but rather be positive and stay on track, because as teacher, we should be motivated, and we have the courage and the perseverance to teach our learner so that they can learn in spite of the difficulties that we are facing right now. It means that the new normal has given us a new situation, a new way of teaching, a new way of looking at things in a different way. But we have the courage to fulfill our mission and change the life of our students. In spite of this pandemic period, of this new normal phenomenon, I believe that all of us are ready, and if we are not ready, we should have the time and the guts to be ready, because we are here in this period that we need to adapt and adjust in order for our students to learn better in spite of this uh, period. Now, what are the changes brought by new normal? I suppose that you are aware of this, and I believe that you have experienced some of the situation or all of the given situation. First is a lockdown. So these lockdowns started in uh, late in March until in June. So we are aware that we need to stay at home, to be aware of what is happening around us by listening to the radio, watching the news, and talking to our friends using the internet. Another one is wearing face mask. So why do we are wearing that? Because wearing face masks help us to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It also protects our body so that we can stay healthy. Another one is wearing a face shield. So aside from face masks, we are also encouraged to wear the face shield because it also helps us to prevent the spread of this disease. Another one is physical distancing. In this situation, we need to be apart at least 3 meters or 6 meters away so that we can be sure that we are not being infected by the COVID-19. Another one, teachers, parents, and students are practicing this physical distancing, whether they are at school or at home, in order for them to stay healthy. Another is promotion of well-being. In the promotion of well-being, everyone is informed by our government to keep our mind, body, physically fit and healthy. Advice says that I have identified is that we should maintain a healthy lifestyle, take up vitamins, and uh, clean ourselves by taking a bath every day. And from being healthy, we can ensure that we are healthy and we are not infected by the COVID-19. Finally, is shifting from face-to-face into virtual online teaching. October is the month where class started in the public school. In this period, teachers, students, and parents are advised that there is going to have a shift in terms of teaching. Before this era or pandemic period, we are teaching inside our classrooms. We abide our daily routine, learning activities, as well as our reward system to our student in a face-to-face interaction. But due to the spread of COVID-19, our children should be safe and should not acquire these diseases or this kind of disease. Okay, one of the, shall we say, way to do this is to have a shift from face-to-face into virtual online teaching. And because of this shift, teachers are learning how to use internet, computers, and electronic gadgets so that they can teach their learners in a remote learning environment. So through distance learning or distance education. Another one for the new normal and education, policymakers and schools head need to abide new policies and practices in education. The Department of Education promulgated some orders as well as guidelines on how teachers can teach their learners in a remote learning environment. And by the policies or the rules they had given to us, we are now encouraged to train and participate in online webinars, trainings, and discussion so that our ideas, knowledge will be enriched. As well, we can teach online and we can use the possible and applicable learning strategies that we can use to reach out our learners while they are listening and learning with us together, although they are far away from us. Another one is teachers should learn new remote teaching strategies and learn how to use online teaching tools. Now, we are uh, doing something right now. Example, attending webinars, a great help. And sometimes we browse the YouTube channel so that we can search for videos which can help us to learn how to use online platforms like Zoom application, Google Meet, and other online applications which are applicable in today's learning situation. Schooling practices are need to be reimagined and reshaped. So, since we are here in this pandemic time, schooling or how leaders could manage school should be redefined. They should find new ways how to provide leadership as well as educational assistance, not only to the teacher, but also to the parents, to the children, and to the community. And I can say that educational technology is important because without it, we can say that our instruction is incomplete. Maybe we can use some of the strategies that are not that are useful. But in this time, we are encouraged to use the internet as well as the educational technologies in order for us to teach them well. Okay, another one is blended learning. So what is blended learning? Blended learning is the combination of the online and offline learning strategies. So we can provide online strategies or learning environment to those learners who have the access to the internet. On the other hand, we can provide offline instruction to learners who cannot access the internet. So there are many ways on how we can integrate blended learning in our classroom. So for example, if you have a student that can access the internet, she has a strong internet connection, he or she can participate in our online lesson. So therefore, we can inform the parents about the online teaching, and we can also orient them on how their children can access this online classroom and also how the parents can help their children or assist their children to be able to join this online learning or online teaching class. Next, work from home. So teachers are working from home. We are working from home because we want to be away from this COVID-19. Another reason that um, due to our new way of teaching, we have to prepare our electronic gadgets, Wi-Fi connections, and other important tools at home. So the first place where we can do it is in our home. And another one is learning from home. So learning from home is experienced by our learners. So learners who are engaged in our classroom or who can afford to subscribe to internet connection are given the opportunity to learn from home. In addition, some students can also learn from home. We can help them to learn from home by using some strategies like giving modules, worksheets, and other printed materials which they can use at home with the assistance of their parents or guardians. So in this new normal, there should be an awareness about the educational reforms as well as how we can shape and reimagine the way we teach, the way we provide quality education to all. First of all, we should have the knowledge regarding this phenomena, as well as the various remote learning modalities, policies, skills, and techniques in order for us to adopt in this situation. Another one are the skills. Skills are important because without them, we cannot perform our duties as an online teacher. We need to have the skill uh, in manipulating the computer, surfing the internet, using the online application, and communicating with them through different online platforms. So how can we develop these skills? We can develop this by, first of all, attending webinars. Second, we can talk to our colleagues. Next, we can also discuss it in the group chat of our school, of our colleagues, so that we can exchange ideas. We can also enrich our skills by having our initiative to discover how to use and apply these remote learning strategies in our classroom. Mindset. Okay, about mindset. Mindset has something to do with our perception, our belief about what is happening. So as teacher, we should be positive. And let's have a thought that this new normal is a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing things, and new way of lying, new knowledge in reaching out and teaching our learners. Despite the problems, let us look at the bright side. Let's see that this situation is not permanent. It is only temporary. But during this time, we should have the courage, diligence, as well as the perseverance to overcome the challenges we are facing. I know some of our colleagues have problems accessing the internet. Some of them are living in the province and they need a strong Wi-Fi connections, uh, financial assistance, and other learning materials that they should have so they can give it to the learners. There's a saying, we cannot give what we do not have. So how can we teach if we don't have the skills? So skills are essentials. So skills on what? Skills about ICT, skills about the way on how we can deliver our lessons, and also the skills on how learners can learn at their homes. Um, Parents should have also the skills to be able to bring to us the output of the learners. So it means that skills should be developed by everyone. It should be developed by the educational policy makers, school head, teachers, parents, learners, and the community. We are in this all together. We move as one. We are a team. So therefore, all of us should develop essential skills in ICT, in the online strategies, and also in the offline strategies. Communication is also needed to be able to discuss or to express our own feelings and understanding about the situations. Okay, how about adaptation? Adaptation has something to do with how we how we adapt to this environment. So meaning, um, in spite of the difficulties we are experiencing, we should adapt and we should realize and accept that this is a new normal. We have no choice. Our own way is to embrace it. We must embrace the challenges, opportunities, and the ways on how we can handle it. Adjustment. All of us are adjusting in this situation. Adjustment has something to do with our lifestyle, with our beliefs, with our perception about things. But we can adapt and we can also adjust. Adjusting also help us to help one another and to develop a community of learning environment that is remote, but we effectively have these skills and strategies to teach our lessons. Now, let's go to online learning. So everybody is talking about it. Teachers, parents, children, and all of us are talking about online learning. Online learning is not new. Before the pandemic, we are having this online learning. Some schools, colleges, and universities are conducting this online learning. So, what is online learning? When it comes to location, online learning takes place in the internet. We use varied online platforms such as Google Meet, Zoom applications, and the like to teach and reach out our learners. Another one is distance learning. So we do it because our learners are at home and We are also at home. We are working at home. So in this distance learning, we teach them and guide them using or educational technologies. We also use electronic gadgets and internet connections. We subscribe to internet companies, and sometimes we buy our loads to access the internet. Nowadays, we are using the computer, our laptops, videos, cameras, and other gadget that will assist us in teaching our lesson. It is sad to say that not all our children, not all our learners have these gadgets. And we as teachers need to help them by doing varied ways, by reaching out and finding new strategies on how to teach them in offline and online situations. Next, let's go to management of online learning. Okay, so management has something to do with everything as a teacher. First of all, let us consider planning and designing. So in planning and designing, we need to plan our classroom. So in planning, we should think about what is the realistic or applicable online tools or platforms that we can utilize in our classrooms. And how are we going to use it? So I believe that in planning for this, we should first know what is the online platforms that we know best or that we like to use. Okay, another one is let's also consider our students, what and the parents. What are the online platforms that they use and know at home so that teacher and parents can use them cooperatively. Another one is designing. So designing is creating your plan about managing your online classroom. So in designing, first of all, you should have an overview of the situation of your class. Consider first the learner's abilities and skills. Next is we have also to consider the technologies that we have at home. Another one is we have to be familiar with the learning competencies and the guidelines that we should follow so that we are guided by these guidelines and policies. Another one is we should have a broad knowledge and understanding about our lesson, mastery of our lesson. And when we have this mastery, I believe, we can create or design learning activities which can suit the needs and meets the educational needs of our learners. Designing, creating, and developing the structure of an online class is very important. So think of uh, the positive side and also the negative side and look for opportunities so that you can have an overall view of what to do. So planning is essential so that you will have a concrete framework or, or should I say a draft or a map about your learning environment. And exciting is that you know what are the teaching style, the methods, and how are you going to deliver your lessons daily to them. Okay, learning facilitators guidelines. So for this, schools has provided measures or guidelines how we can teach online, in an offline situation. So as teacher, we should be aware and familiarize ourselves with the guidelines or the policies that are implemented by the Department of Education. Also, we need also to collaborate, cooperate, and to have social connections with everybody so that we can see if we are on the right track, if we are doing it or not. We can also we can also ask them about our performance or how well we do so that we can reflect if we are following the guidelines that are set by DepEd and our schools. Okay, tutors and tutorials. Because we are learning online, the parents. Okay, tutors and tutorials. Parents are our assistants in creating this online management. They help us in providing the modules to their children. Also, at home, they assist their children how to read, write, and perform mathematical skills or numeracy skills. Okay, suggestion for learners. So we can suggest how learners can learn. Okay, we can use the online platforms in discussing them about our rules and regulation when they are online or when they are in our online class. Another one is that we can also talk to the parents using our group chat and other online groups to discuss about the problems, issues, and concern that their children are encountering while studying at home. And then we can also develop suggested measures or ways on how they can help their children assist their learners at home. Next, online office hours. Online office hours means aside from the regular online learning class, there should also be a time that you can talk to your student who has a difficulty in some learning areas. So you can talk to them online. You can also conduct a remedial program online. And also you can also talk to the parents and the children about the possible problem and also what will be the possible solutions to that problem. And also, for the online learning, there should also be support group. So support group meaning that aside from us, we can um, also get the assistance of our colleagues, of the community, of other groups that can help our classes and also that can uh, maintain our way of teaching in the online classroom. So for the support group, we can tap we can tap we can tap our stakeholders, and we can also um, ask for assistance. Okay, the school can also collaborate with the external stakeholders to help the school to have the access on the internet or to buy gadgets that can help to teach in an online setup. So support group has something to do with external, internal stakeholder, and all people who can help our online learning class. Now, I have here key points of management of online learning. First, let's remember, it should be clearly structured and visible, meaning that it is concrete, it's precise. You should have that clear uh, understanding of it. Okay, for this, we have contact details of staff and support. So as teachers, get the contact details um, of your learners, their address, their telephone numbers, cell phone numbers, and other means on how you can communicate with them, and also with the staff and other support group. Another one is course information. Course information or subject information, it's important for you to realize the content of your lesson or what your lesson is all about. Okay, course materials. What are the effective and useful instructional materials which you can utilize so that there is a meaningful connection within you, between the materials, between the learning environment. And you can ensure that your student get what they need in the educational setup. Structure. So structure your class. Okay? Plan for your class. Provide the routines, the rules and regulations. Okay? Give them details of what everything going to do. And also, you have to also to educate the parents and the student how to use and access the chosen online platforms. For example, if you choose to use the Google Meet, you must know how to use it. And then you can schedule a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting with your parents and discuss it. Also, you can also provide or send a video tutorials about using that Google Meet and then use it. If they have problem using or accessing them, you can assist them. They can write in the chat box their question, and you can also assist them by telling them what to do or writing on the chat box what they need to do. Okay, another one. It should include clearly, structured, and visible. So, in our online class management, we should have a course calendar. It means that there is a weekly plan. Okay, in our lesson plan, we have there the lesson or the subject that we're going to teach. So let's be familiar about it. So we can look at it in our lesson plan, specifically in our weekly home lesson plan or lesson guide. So let's familiarize ourselves with our lesson plan. Another one is assignments, lab quiz, and discussion boards, and submission. So, about these matters, we can say that we can divide this if we know our learners' ability skills and what learning modalities that are useful or we can use for them. So assignment, I noticed that um, can be given if only needed. Okay, lab quiz, discussion board, and submissions are also useful so that they can be able to 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 get to provide their answers, and also we can also get what they have learned from us. So this assignment, lab quiz, discussion board, submission are important in collecting their performance. There are many ways that the parents can deliver it to us. So they can bring it to us by sending to our email address, to the Google Meet, okay, to other platform, the Google Class, or they can simply bring the materials to the schools and inform us about it so that we can pick it up and check them at home. Okay, study tips, time, and self-management skills. So for the online management to be successful, we need to tell our student what are the tips on how they can study. And also we can also inform them about the time of the class and as well as how they can manage themselves or be responsible about their actions. We can also collaborate with the parents of our learners so that the parents can talk to them and can discuss to them the rules, regulation guidelines that we set in our online classrooms. So policies and procedures. So policies and procedures has something to do with the steps on how you conduct the online classes. Okay, what are the routine the activities, the learning activities, and what the teacher should be done, what the learner should be done. Okay, what will be the role of the parents? What materials are we going to use? So policies and procedures are our guide in conducting these online classes. Now, online teaching management needs more work because you are you are doing the duties of a teacher, of a technical support, okay, assistant in ICT. You're also writing your modules, developing your uh, outputs, and you're also making a presentation for them. So you are doing a lot of work. Okay. Now, since you have a lot of work to do, I would recommend that there should be a regular communications between you, the parents, and also the stakeholders. You can call the parents, you can chat to them, you can also call and chat to the children if they know how to use them. Okay, feedbacks and assessment. Okay, feedbacks. Feedbacks should be constructive. And in doing these feedbacks, you should talk to the parents confidentially. If there's a problem about the performance of the children in an online environment, you can use online tools like the messenger or call the parents so that you can discuss the problem or what the child's achieved for the lesson or for the quarter. And for the assessment, assessment is important. But nowadays, modular instruction is implemented. So teachers checks and records the scores of the children. These scores are one of the basis of their performance. There are lots of ways to assess your students. Okay, assessment has something to do with their learning and also why are they learning the subject matter. It's important that we should observe the proper, ethical, and right way of assessing our learners in a virtual classroom. Okay, we have applicable online tools. So we are here. So the big question is, what is the most applicable online tool that I can use as a teacher for my students? So the answer is up to you. We have lots of online tools. We have lots of online platforms and applications that you can use. And they are available online. All you need to do is to search for them, learn them, and think if these tools are necessary or they are applicable to your learning or virtual class. Enough time to complete the learning activities. Okay, for example, you conduct an online class. You can give at least one or two activities because you do not know how they will going to answer it, although you can see them online. So I think that the activities that you're going to give them should be realistic and smart. And also, these activities are comprehensive, they are time bound, they are realistic, essential, and they're also useful in their learning. So be aware of the time in the online class. I know we have the weekly home daily plan, but I have said to all of you, it's important to observe the time for the class so that at that certain period of time, you can ensure that you have given your best to teach them in the time. Next is learners' feedback. So we need also the feedback of the learners. Why? So that we can know if we are teaching effectively or not. So feedback can be formal or informal. They can chat the response using the chat box. They can also send letter through the Google Classroom or other platforms that you know how to use. They can also call you by phone. Okay, collaboration. Collaboration, you have to collaborate or to connect with all the teaching and learning collaborators, your colleagues, your school heads, the parents, the local government units, and everybody who is involved in this learning environment. Okay, online learning experiences. Okay, make sure that all of your students are engaged online. So you are a teacher. You should be the most effective one who can elicit, who can arouse their interest while they are watching and learning with you. It's essential that they have a lot of understanding, knowledge, and a lot of fun in doing the activities. And see to it that everybody are participating. Although we are in the online environment, we are facilitator. So make sure that the activities or the weekly lesson plan that you're going to use is student-centered. And most of the activities are time-bound. And these activities will help them to connect to one another. They will work together as one. They will work as team. And they will have also the interest to learn more and to continue learning in your classes. Next, sense of being a community. So what is this all about? Okay, meaning that when you are conducting the online classroom, you are considered as a leader. And everyone has their role to play. So your parents, the parents of your children are the collaborators. And you as a leader of learning are the one who is reaching out for them. Okay, so we develop a community where members of this community are working together for improving the quality of learning of the students. And that we integrate values and emotional support so that we are not only connected with our learners, but also we give them the emotional strength that they need. And as teacher, as their second parents, we should make sure that they are they that we properly communicate with them and we have a better understanding of what they are doing and what are their needs for emotional support. Now, let's move on to the advantages of online learning. Okay, so these are the advantages. Convenience. Okay, so it's convenient to use for those who can access the internet and has no gadgets. You can also record class sessions. So why do we record the class session? So that we can go back on it. We can monitor or assess about the session that we had so we can evaluate whether we have achieved our goals or what is the situation. Now, awareness of educational resources in the internet. As teacher, we are exposed to varied educational resources online. We can surf them, search them, and we can download them. Also, we can use these resources as a way of teaching our learners. We can use the materials that are available online. So I would suggest that we could use the available resources online. Getting to know and how to use online platforms and tools in teaching a lesson. So I have discussed already. So it's a must for us to be able to learn there. Otherwise, I will go back to the offline learning. Now, we have the advantages of the online learning. On the other side, we have also the issues and concern in online learning. Let's look at the point of feeling of being isolated. Sometimes we feel isolated because we are more on using the internet. We have no time to face and with our family members. Some students are not used to listen and look online. So, feeling of isolation is a negative one, but we have to fight. And let's do the online learning, not for ourselves, but also for everybody. Another one is not all learners are motivated to learn. Why do I say this? Because maybe of the gadgets they are using. Because if you're using a smartphone and your learner is in the first grade or second grade, he or she may not be motivated to look at you because you're so small. Others others have no access in these gadgets. That's why they prefer to do it offline. So there are many reasons for this. But as a teacher, you have to unravel, identify what causing them not to motivate and try to make a possible solution for that. Lack of knowledge and training in using the online teaching tools. Okay, maybe the problem here is that we have no access to the internet or we have no time to study them. But we can do anything that can help us to learn them better. First of all, we must realize and accept that we are in the new normal. And we are using the blended learning. There are times that we're using the online learning, and there are times that we're using the offline learning. Learning the online platform is crucial because so that you can uh, have a knowledge of it, a skill of it, and you can also use it for your convenience and for teaching the learners. Okay, more works to be done. You are not only a teacher, you are doing work being a technical staff. You're doing also the modules, the worksheet, the presentation, and you're doing other tasks. That's why you have a lot of works to be done. But if you have your time management, you can ensure that you can be successful on giving the online learning to your class. Some learners have no access to the internet. Okay? And then there's a tendency to set up and to forget online activities. So maybe the problem here is that the teacher is too busy or has many work to do. So to be able to solve this problem, the teacher should have a plan, a schedule, and also a reminder that which help him or her to uh, to be on the online class on time and to get ready. Okay, assessment and evaluation. There are a lot of resources and useful websites that shows a different assessment and evaluation online. It's important that you learn how to make online assessment and evaluation before you use it online. Okay, we can also assess the student and evaluate their performance online, but make sure that you know how to do it in an online environment. Now, for assessment online, we have many uh, useful tools that can help us to assess the learners. We could also have the online programs and softwares that we can use in our learning activities. Now, we have learned about online learning, and you have learned about different ways on how to manage your classroom in a virtual environment or setup. Now, let us now discuss about offline learning. Offline learning is not new because it is a traditional learning. It is what we have been do. It is what we do or what we did before this new normal. Okay, there is a face-to-face interactions between facilitators and learners. So we go to our classroom, we teach in front of the class, we provide learning activities, we let them to report or to discuss their output, and we assess them in our physical classroom. So physical classroom, this is the actual classroom where we are teaching our lesson for our students. Okay, teaching strategies. These are strategies that we are using in the physical classroom environment. Okay, so it can be experiential, it can be direct instruction, or it can be in group activity. Okay, for the daily learning activities. So these activities can be found in our daily lesson plan, daily lesson log, and our lesson guides. So for the learning activities, we develop or we make our learning activities based on the skills, needs, and abilities of our learner. Okay, evaluation and assessment. So there are many uh, types and kinds of evaluation and assessment that we use in an offline learning. We can use the uh, different evaluation to measure the learning of our student. And we can also use assessment to see the overall picture of the performance of our learners. So most of the teachers are familiar with this about the evaluation and assessment that we are conducting inside our physical classroom. Next, management of offline learning. Okay, first of all, teachers and learners should set good rules and procedures in the classroom together. Okay, in uh, crafting rules and regulation, teachers should give the opportunity to the students to help in crafting the rules and regulation in the classroom. Because if they know it and they are the one who crafted, there is a big chance that they will also follow it because they understand what they have done. Identify and explain specific rules and procedure. So if you have the rules in the classroom, you must identify what are the other rules to be followed by the students. Implement the good rules and procedures in the classroom. Once you have crafted, you decided that this is the rule, then you have to implement it. So everybody should be aware of and should follow what you have agreed upon. Provide support and assistance to the learners. So there are many ways that you can provide support and assistance to the learners in the offline learning. Okay, so you can do it by talking to the child face to face. You can ask for, well, you can ask her or him about his or her problem. Also, you can communicate with the parents so that they will know the problem of the child. Okay, monitor and evaluate the implementation of these classroom rules and procedures. So you have to monitor it. Okay, next is provide tangible and non-tangible reward to learners who follow rules and regulation. So motivation plays a role in following instruction, rules and regulation in the classroom. So it is advisable that teachers should provide a reward. It can be tangible or intangible. You can praise your student, you can give a star, or anything that is tangible to encourage them to follow rules and regulation in your classroom. Now, what are the advantages of offline learning? Okay, communication and connection. So you can communicate, and you can connect to your student, the parents, and the other stakeholder in a face-to-face interaction. Okay, so face-to-face interaction, you can talk to them directly. Enhancement of the interpersonal skill because you are there with your students. You can now have the opportunity to talk to them and communicate with them and enhance their ways on how they can um, communicate with one another through providing effective and useful learning activities. Okay, involvement in the class. So involvement in the class, you have a lot of, uh, shall we say, a lot of strategies that you can use. Specifically, that's learner-centered strategies. Okay, you can form big groups, small groups. You can let them to form a group. You can also provide learning activities which promote grouping, okay, allowing them the opportunity to talk, to express their ideas, discuss what have they learned, and to present their output. And then monitoring, assessment, and evaluation of learners' performance. So here, we have a lot of evaluation tools and assessment tools that we can use. So it can be teacher-made tests, can be standardized tests, okay? It can be in the form of performance tasks, written tasks. So, in developing the assessment tools and evaluation materials, it is important that you have to uh, identify the learners, the content you have taught to them, also the skill to be developed has been developed to them. Okay, be sure that you have your tests are congruent with the objective, with the skills that you have taught to them. And also make sure that you provide a good and comprehensive test. Now, issues and concern in offline learning. Okay, time management. Why? Because when you are teaching a lesson, sometimes groupings takes too long. In this case, you have to do something about it. You have to make sure that the activities are only for that time. Okay? And if there's an extension, there will be a problem in the other activities because you're going to have an overtime. Okay, establishing daily routines and activities. Problem with the learning strategies and materials. So what materials are going to use? What strategies are going to use? So it depends upon your class. Behavior problem of learners. Oh, this is a big problem in a face-to-face interaction. You need to undergo training, seminar, have your own study, self-study on the behavior problem and management so that you can help them to improve their behavior. Teachers, knowledge, skills, and training. Okay, with regards to knowledge, skills, and training, the school provides teacher with trainings. So if we undergone the training, it is our responsibility to apply what we have learned and then use it in the classroom. We must use it so that it will be it will benefits. It will make a good impact to the performance of our learners. Communications between the teacher, learner, and the community. Okay. Because some parents have problems, some students have problems, so teachers have problem in communicating with them. So we can use a letter and send it to them, or we can talk to other people that know them so that they can be informed about the problem of their student. We can also call them by phone, and we also can have a phone call or write a message to their emails and chats. Now, we are now in our final part. It's about the conclusion. Okay, after presenting to you about managing the offline and the online learning, these are the conclusion being drawn. Online and offline learning are both important to enhance the academic performance of the learners. So we are in the blended learning. So we use online learning. We also use offline learning. Both are useful. Both are essential. Both are important for our students. Teachers should provide an environment where effective learning and harmonious relationship takes place. Okay, we are not teacher to teach our student a lesson where we are only teaching them. We are here to provide emotional support, encouragement, and motivation for them to learn not only the subject matter, but also to learn the values that they can use in their life. Okay, let us help our learners to meet their educational needs. So, teachers, us that in this new normal, we are facing a lot of problems, we are facing a lot of challenges. I am inviting you to, to embrace this change and do something to uplift the quality of education of our country. Also, our main focus is to help our students because they are our key clients. It is better to understand ourselves, understand our student, understand the environment we are living in, and adapt, adjust, and do something that can help them to learn, whether it is in an online or offline learning situation. I would like to share to you uh, okay, this. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the type of house I live in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. Thank you and have a nice day.